Tell me what to say.
That was very Mill Cuckfield-esque.
Yes. Anyway, we are here today. That's very Professor-esque.
Yes.
We are here today for another exciting new episode of Serious Nibbage. This is sbrebrown and
Gourmet pens.
Anyway, today we'll be talking about a classic pen. Not
Yes.
a vintage, but it is a classic. And that pen is...
That pen is... It was actually requested by a few people, so we are happy to be doing this. And it's the Lamy 2000.
I was trying to make this spin, but I couldn't.
No, you shouldn't, because you'd probably drop it. But which version is it? We will show you when we open it.
Yes, it is a somewhat special version, because as you know, the typical Lamy 2000s are made of macrolon, and this is the steel version. And the steel version was contributed to us by Mass Drop.
Yes, and if you are not a Mass Dropper, you should be, because this was actually available on Mass Drop not too long ago.
And...
at a discounted price.
Yes. So check that out, because Mass Drop used to do a lot of stuff, but they have a writing section with stationery paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Pens, fountain pens.
And you can also pull for and vote for pens and inks and papers that you want to see on there. So it's pretty
you
cool.
will get a discount
Yeah.
if it all works out. So that was our plug.
Yeah,
Mass
so thank
Drop.
you to Mass Drop for sending this over
Yes.
to us to review.
And
To serious nibbagify, if we were to make that into a verb of sorts. To nibbage it, to seriously nibbage it.
interesting as this may be, let's try to answer the first question.
Yes.
What were your first impressions?
Well, my first impressions, the packaging is very Lamy-esque. It's utilitarian. No. Cardboardy, simple, and to be honest, I kind of like it because
Simple.
it's simple, and if you choose to keep it, it's easy to stack and store. It's like a Tetris type thing, and if you open it, you want to show what comes inside?
Yes.
Just
In it is a little booklet with the history of the 2000. And
Okay,
this,
that's good enough.
This is Gerd
I
Müller,
guess you want to show this, yeah.
who was I don't know if he was a Bauhaus member, but at least he was inspired by Bauhaus, and he actually designed the pen in 1966. And bear in mind, this pen has been in production since 1966.
I just smacked the cat in the face because she jumped up on me while I was moving around. So anyway, that's just the warranty policy and the
That's the animal.
you know, it's a good thing I was wearing pants.
Yeah, unlike last time.
Yeah. Anyway,
Another
that's
booklet,
not exciting.
Another card.
What's really nice though is the pen comes in very simply in the little like bed type thing with a shining cloth because yeah. Anyway, enough of the packaging. The packaging is cool. What are your impressions of the packaging? You like it?
Yeah, nice. It's simple, but it does everything it should do. It holds the pen. It doesn't look so elaborate that you can't get rid of it or whatever. It does what it should do.
I think at this price point it's decent enough, and you can recycle it if you want. You can keep it if you want. So.
Yeah, so I think it's all cardboard. So
Yeah.
actually, if you are into environmental stuff, there's a magnet in there, which you can recycle and use for other purposes. But you can also use throw out the box.
Anyway, so that was the packaging that nobody really cares about, I don't think. So let's talk about the pen.
What makes it special?
Wait, first impressions of the pen. I think it's really pretty. And if you read my review, you will find that the first thing I say about it is that I never really liked these pens. I did not find them attractive. And then all of a sudden, one day I was like, wait a minute, I really want one of those. And I'll tell you what I think made me want one, and you're probably all going to laugh at me. But this is the pen uncapped. And I think the stainless steel version is very attractive. It's very simple, sleek, seamless, and I was very impressed with it.
The macrolon version, for those of you who don't know, it would be about this color. I think it's a matte anthracite.
It is matte, yeah. Matte, kind of like a...
almost blackish.
Yeah, it's very dark gray, and the section is this color.
Yeah.
So, yes. Your pen first impressions.
My first impressions, I had used the macrolon version, and the first thing that I noticed with this is that this one is super heavy. The macrolon version is very light, very pleasant for long writing sessions. This is much heavier. Of course, it is completely made of metal. Some say that it's actually just a macrolon version with a sort of metal armor around it. I don't know. I haven't had the guts to saw one in half.
And we are not going to do that.
No. But even so, it's an interesting idea. Apart from that, I love the design, and I personally prefer the metal version because it is heavier and really nice and robust.
Okay, so summary: positive first impressions from both of us on
Yes.
both packaging and pen. Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
So,
Canadian. Now, what makes it special?
well, you had done some research in your pen book, so why
Yes.
don't you tell us what makes it special?
Well, as I said before, the Lamy 2000 is a pen that has been around for quite a long time. And even though it's called 2000, it was actually launched in 1966 or designed in 1966. And bear in mind, it has been in continuous production since 1966 with only minor changes, very minor changes to the design. And if you see pictures or are able to hold an original Lamy from that period, you will see that it really looks very similar to what it looks like now. And I think that if a pen has been around for more than 40 years,
Yeah,
uninterruptedly,
with few changes.
then you could say that that is pretty special.
Yeah, so I think that
Because I don't
pretty
think you
neat.
can say that about a lot of other pens.
Yeah, it's
Maybe the
becoming
Jewel
quite
Soul or something.
legendary.
Yeah.
So it's
That's pretty
very
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
that
very
is cool.
classic now. So
Now, what about the writing experience? Because that's what we buy a pen for.
well, this is very true. And if you would like to see a writing sample, you can watch the review
Yes,
or look at the review because
we will link to it
Yes.
below.
this is a medium, and if you don't know about the Lamy 2000, it's kind of like this semi. You want to show that?
Yes.
It's kind of semi-hooded, so it's partially exposed. I did not flush the pen or anything. It wasn't washed. I just inked it up right away, and because I just wanted to see how it would perform. And the really nice thing is the second the nib hits the paper, it wrote. And I have not had any hard starts, no skipping, no issues with it whatsoever. And I really am happy about that because
Well, some pens don't.
some pens don't do that. So, and of course, at this price range, you would expect it to, but you know, of course, at
It doesn't mean anything.
much higher price ranges, you don't get that. I found the nib to be very reliable, very consistent. It's a 14 karat nib, so it is a little bit soft. You can squeeze out a bit of line variation, but it's not. The flow will have issues keeping up with that. That's fine. I'm not surprised by that, but it is soft, so it does give that nice, pleasant, yielding experience. For me, unposted is fine, very comfortable, and although it is heavy, it balances perfectly right there for me. So
it's a bit cigar shaped, right? It's or Zeppelin shape, whatever you like to call it.
If I do this, it feels nice, but it becomes too heavy for me to use. So for those of you with smaller hands, or if you can't use heavier pens, you could still give it a shot. If you go to a store and they have it, you could give it a shot anyway. I was worried about the section because I've heard that some people have issues with their fingers slipping on the section, but the nib writes so flawlessly that it's not like you have to like death grip it and like press down. It just writes, and so I found that I could hold it so relaxed, and I also kind of write at a lower angle with this particular pen just because that's how I like how the nib feels. So I did not have that issue. It's possible others will, but
yeah, and it depends. It may depend a bit on the nib. On my Macrolon 2000, I do have an oblique broad nib, and oblique nibs do need to be turned into the paper. And then if you just get off angle a little bit, then it can actually start to skip. So in that case, it's an issue. With a round medium like this, I have not really had any issues.
A medium is pretty safe.
Yeah,
I would say
it's a safe option, and I have a broad version of the 2002. So that's 2000, not 2002.
Yeah.
And that similar, very nice, very smooth writing performance. So I agree with you. I have had no issues with it. Indeed, nice bit of yield, not semi-flex, not that, but a little bit of line variation, very pleasant.
Yeah.
And mainly smooth.
It is
nice
smooth.
It's
really nice.
I'm not sure if I would call this buttery smooth.
I would not call it buttery smooth.
It has a little bit of feedback,
but I don't expect it to be.
No.
And what I'm pleased about is that it seems like a pen that you can use all the time.
Yes.
It's an everyday pen, and it is pretty robust. So
definitely, I would say, especially the metal version is extremely. It feels really robust in the hand.
Yeah. So I mean, I was very pleased. I was really happy that it wrote instantly, and without issue. So thumbs up to Lamy for pulling that off.
I haven't really had any skipping issues either, I believe. Not even with
I
the
have
broad.
not,
No.
and
Well-tuned nibs.
it's I mean, under a loop, it's really well tuned. So there's no misalignment at all with the tines. So that's
All baby's bottom.
no baby's bottom. It's really cool.
That's really nice.
It's funny because at some point you kind of realize that, wait a minute, this is almost surprising that
A
we're
pen can
talking
actually
about
write, right?
yeah, that a pen that can write out of the box.
Yeah.
But that makes Lamy more favorable for me. So
I agree. Now, what do you love about it?
what I love about it, this is what made me fall in love with this pen, because at first, like I said, I didn't like them. Can you show these little nubs?
Nubs?
The cap
the dog ears?
is a little like clip cap, and they have these itty bitty little nubs that stick out, and it's on both of the Macrolon and this one.
Yep.
It's a love or hate thing. I think some people love them, some people hate them, but it does this, which is so satisfying. So I love that.
I'm not saying that.
It has that effect that a silver pen has. It warms in your hand, which makes it feel very warm, tangible, alive. It makes you feel like you are, I mean, you are obviously writing with something, but you really feel like you're connected to your words. That's how I feel anyway. I could be nuts. So I really enjoyed that experience. I like the feel of it unposted.
Yeah.
I find it very comfortable. I really like the shape, how it's, what shape do you describe?
I think
Zeppelin?
cigar shape or
Cigar?
Zeppelin.
I don't know, whatever the shape is, because it's wider and then thins out. It's very comfortable for me. And the nib is, it writes really well. It's consistent. It is smooth, but again, not buttery smooth. But I think that's an appropriate nib for this kind of pen.
Yep.
So I am a fan. Also, the clip. The clip is operable with one hand, and it does not feel like a cheap clip. Oh, you could do that too, but I was just doing this.
No.
Yeah. So I like that. I mean, I don't put clip pens in my shirt, but I put them in pen pouches. And I really hate when you can't lift it, and then I have to struggle with it, then I have to ask him to do it, because I can't. So.
Well, I happen to be wearing a shirt with a pocket, and as you can see, it's really easy. Both taking it in and out is wonderful. So that
awesome.
makes for a very nice nice experience. I really agree with you. What you say, nice writing experience, nice feel, very pleasant to the touch, very smooth. But it you know, although it's very smooth, I think it's brushed steel or something. So it has, you may be able to see these very fine lines, which don't really add any relief to it or anything, but it is nice. And that is something I really appreciate. Two other things that I would mention is that it is a piston-filled pen.
Mm-hmm.
So at this price, you actually get a piston-filled pen, and that's an actual piston, so not a built-in converter that is sold as a piston or whatever. It is an actual piston with a seal, with everything. And the second thing that I really enjoy is that you can take apart the pen completely. You can disassemble not just a section, take out the nib and feed. You can take out the entire piston unit, grease it up a little bit, maintain it, and I think that's really great, because especially I think if you use saturated inks, after a while your piston may start to turn a little bit less smoothly, and this is a really great way to be able to maintain your pen. Things I hate about it, in all honesty, I don't think I hate anything about it. The cat is saying hi.
She's just trying to get into his lap. So
interesting thing is that although this entire pen, the metal version, is matte, it has a highly reflective clip. Interestingly enough, the Macrolon version, which is matte, actually also has a matte clip. So some people enjoy taking the clip out of this one and then putting the other clip in, etc. That's an option. Of course, they need to have both. But there's really nothing I
Who would be crazy enough to have both?
Yes. One thing I will say about it is I can imagine that for some people the pen is too heavy. I seem to recall something like 60 grams of weight, or something. Whatever.
It's in my review.
It's
right
heavy.
At the top.
It's heavy. So that is something that was a really loud motorcycle. If you enjoy lighter pens or for really long writing sessions, maybe you want to check out the Macrolon version. Would you buy it?
Wait, I didn't get to say what I hate about it.
Oh, I thought you said we had it.
Okay, what I the only thing, yeah, the weight is a point, but I don't hate that because, like I said, it works for me unposted. The one thing,
But that's good to know because you have smaller hands than I do.
yeah, but it's really it feels really nice.
You're much weaker than I am.
Not weak enough to stab you. I mean, not too weak to stab you. That's what I meant. Yeah. Okay. I do miss that there is no the ink window.
Yeah.
The Macrolon
point.
one has an ink window, and it's nice because
On a piston filler, you have no idea.
you have no idea. You can't really like shake it because you'll splatter ink everywhere, and you'll kind of look like a weirdo.
I like splattering ink everywhere.
Yes, speaking of weirdos. So that's the only one downside to the stainless steel version for me. Yeah. But of course you mentioned the weight, so that is something to consider. Yeah. But I don't hate that.
Would you buy it?
Would I buy it? Well, the price is $300 US or so.
Which is not cheap.
It is not cheap, but you know, I've had it for a few weeks and I've really enjoyed using it. And it looks really good. It matches almost everything. I know that sounds also weird, but I mean, it matches this shirt, but it could also match any other shirt. It matches almost any ink if you're one of those people that likes to match your pen to your ink. So, and then given my experience with it, with the nib and how it feels, I would definitely buy it. I find it very much an everyday writer and an everyday carry pen.
I would concur. I think that although this is a $300 pen, the Macrolon version is cheaper.
Macrolon version is cheaper, yeah.
$140 or $150.
Yeah, something like that.
Price may have gone up a little bit since I bought it, but in any case, I think you could easily say that you are buying a tank. This pen feels like it's indestructible, and I'm sure you can dent it, and I'm sure you can.
If you drop it nib down, it's not going to be indestructible.
No, but it's heavy, and it's not a metal that you can just dent or something. It feels really rugged.
Yeah.
And I think that's really nice, and especially to people who enjoy sort of high-tech products that look very technical, look very industrial. I think this would really appeal to them. And yes, it has a high cost. It's also a piston-filled pen. It has a gold nib. It is entirely made of metal.
And it is well made.
Yes, it is well made.
It's well put
Tolerances
together.
are tight. And again, you can disassemble it. You can do your maintenance yourself. I think all of that warrants buying the pen.
Yeah.
Now, the question is it or is it not? And by the way, especially the metal, it comes with a polishing cloth. That's really cool if you have
tidy it up.
Yeah, you can.
Give her a little polish.
Or is it not? Seriously.
Moment of truth. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yes.
I would also say that the Macrolon version is serious Nibbage.
Well, what if we wanted to serious Nibbage the Macrolon version?
Well, now we don't have to anymore.
Gosh. Anyway, yes. So I would say that is serious Nibbage. I would buy it. It's been a lovely experience with it. Lovely. And that's even from someone who loves broad nibs. I was going to say broads, but then I knew he would just jump on that, so I didn't bother. Anyway, enough of our chit-chat.
True.
Thank you again to Master Up.
Yes, thanks a lot.
And hopefully you guys enjoyed this, because it is, like I said, it's been requested. If you like this, like us, please, because that's good. Then we know when people are actually watching. And if you don't like it, then I really don't know why you even have gotten this far. You could just close it and you could just leave.
Go away.
Bye.
Bye. Well, I hope this was useful.
Yes.
And?
We'll see you later.
Probably.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Wait. Stop it. Oh, mother. You know, you have a lot of StephenBrown. Oh. That was not PG.